Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, the reigning San Andreas League champions of the world, but they're getting bumped up. We're going to talk about that with new head coach Ryan Taylor at Grand Terrace. I say new, but man, you've already had a year under your belt, and what a year it was, to win a league championship, get to the postseason. Coach Taylor, when you look back at year number one at GT, what are some of the memories you made? What are some of the things that you learned on your first year on the job as a head coach?
The biggest thing for me, thanks for having me on again. I really liked when we get to do this, but the biggest thing for me going through it is, you go and you take your first job, and it's like, I felt like I had to have a lot of answers right away. And the biggest thing that I learned as a head coach is, we always want our kids to be honest and feel comfortable making mistakes. And so I had to kind of lead by example on that and go, you know what, guys? Yeah, it's my first year being a head coach. We screwed this up. Here's how we're going to do it now. And I think from taking accountability and doing all that, it turns around in our kids, and they can take some accountability and understand it's okay to make mistakes if you're learning from them and getting better. But as far as the whole year went, it was a really enjoyable experience. I feel like, GT's home now, and it happened quick. You go through the season and you're kind of scrambling that first year. And then when all the dust settles, it's like, man, love those dang kids. I love being here. And for us, it was a tough year. We started off really slow and struggled and played some really great teams in that first half of the year. And our motto for the entire season was Focus 14. If you're going to play for a CIF championship, that's your 14th game. And we understood what our schedule was. We understood all the change that we were going through and how that was going to set us back a little bit. But as long as our kids focused on playing 14 games, which unfortunately we didn't get to do, but I think that motto for us led us through, okay, we're going to get better through the losses. I think a lot of people would write us off early in the year, and I don't blame them. But if you look back at our games, we got better in every loss, specifically looking at the Redlands game for us. That was the week we lost our Colton game, our rivalry, which my first year, I was really looking forward to being a part of that. And we got to go and play a CBL team now. And for 3.5 quarters, we sat there and we actually had the lead through 3.5 and we're battling with them. And I think that just shows our growth from our first game to there. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got through the league championship is, you know what, we're going to get better every single game. And by the time we get to this league, we're going to start hitting our stride. Yeah. And I think we did. And we're able to get in and win the 3rd league title in school history, which was really important to our seniors. Our senior class, they were the first class to experience 2 league championships. And then go in and win the 3rd playoff game in school history. And that was huge for us. And, unfortunately, we lost to a really good league opponent in the playoffs. But I think overall, it was a year of growth for all of us. And it was really a great thing by the time we were done to go, man, look at this journey that we had gone through,
Coach, you talk about that growth and also looking at your schedule like it's a 14-game schedule. If you make it to that CIF Southern Section Championship game, going through that tough non-league schedule, how did you keep morale up? Like, hey guys, what we still want to accomplish, it's still in front of us. We can still win a league championship. How did you keep morale and the confidence, the positivity going?
Yeah, well, I think sometimes to a fault, I'm really positive. I'm not going to be the guy. And I don't think there's any right or wrong way to do our job, but I'm not the guy that's going to sit there and chew you out and berate you when things are going bad. Even when, we went and played Bonita, and I tell people it was the weirdest game I was ever a part of because we get blown out by a really, really good team that's really well coached and extremely talented. But we're able to go out of that game and look at film and go like, man, we had played Etowanda in week 0, and that was a rough one for us. But we're able to look at the film against an even match to us, a team that's at that same level, and go, all right, the score looks bad, but God, look at the play, look at the film. We're missing a couple pieces, and that was, I think, focusing on the growth, continuing to preach like you got to play 14. You don't lose the season on week 3, and celebrating the little things that we were continuing to do right while correcting mistakes. I think that was the big thing for us.
Yeah, you mentioned Etowanda. I think you guys open with them again, right, this upcoming season?
We do, and I think it's great for our school and our program. I know they have a new coach who I personally have not met him, but from everything I've heard, he's a great coach. They're putting together a really good staff. It's a challenge for us for sure, but it's one that we welcome. I think if we're going to continue to grow as a program and get to the place that I think we can get to, we got to play schools like Etiwanda and continue to battle. And that's our biggest thing. When you look at our kids, no matter what the talent level is across from us, no matter who it is, our kids are going to go fight and they're going to go compete. And so we welcome those uphill battles where we get to call ourselves the underdog. We really enjoy that position.
All right, Coach, speaking of being an underdog, well, if people are just casual high school football fans, we'll just kind of set the table again that the Arrowhead Athletic Conference has 3 leagues in it, and if you're winning and doing well and winning league championships, you're gonna go up. So you won a San Andreas League title. Now you guys are going up to the top tier, which is the Sunkiss, which I believe is Summit, Eisenhower, Harupa Hills, and now you guys GT. So I'm sure the goal remains the same, but yeah, you're gonna play some pretty good teams to get to another league title.
Yep, and that's where, again, we want to continue to grow as a program, and that's something that we celebrated and welcomed. When we knew we were getting bumped up into the next league, our kids were really excited for the opportunity. We'll never sit here and say, you know what, we demand to win that league. We're not going to do that. Obviously, that's our expectation. That should be every team's expectation this time of year. But where our kids get fired up is the competition grows now. The San Andreas League, ton of respect for those programs that we get to play. Really like those coaches, but to be able to go up in a league and in a division, and things get a little tougher for our kids. They know that means a fight's coming, and they get fired up about that stuff. So we're really looking forward to the challenge of being in this new league.
All right, speaking of the challenge of this new league and this tough non-league schedule, who are the guys that you're going to turn to, that you're going to lean on in these tough games? I know, obviously, Xavier Oliver was all world, So who are the guys? Who are the guys we're going to be talking about this upcoming season for the Titans?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the senior class. They're really strong. We are losing key guys like Xavier Oliver, Ramses Munoz, Jalen Knight, Max Rosales, Carlos Lopez. We're losing some key guys, but we were so junior heavy across the board last year that this senior class is really they're ready to be the ones that lead now, and they do it a really unique way. This is a fun group. A lot of I would say this group has more personality than any class I've ever coached, but we're in a good spot. We're returning captain from last year, Mike DeFalco, who's our middle linebacker and plays some running back and fullback for us. He's the guy. We call him the push-up king. He is our weight room warrior. He brings a physicality and an intensity to everything that he does that we want our entire football team to reflect. So having a guy like that come back's big. We're returning 2 all-CIF offensive tackles and D linemen for us, and Abraham Gonzalez and Big J Rivas. And those 2 kids, leading up front for us with a junior center this is going to be his 3rd year starting on varsity, Jordan Villarreal. We feel really good about those 3 leading our group up front for us on offense. Our quarterback, Jada Montano, who was a sophomore last year, we kind of thrusted him. He didn't start the year for us at quarterback, and in the Bonita game got thrusted into the job and played well through the rest of the year. He is developing as a passer and as a leader. And it's really something fun to watch. And then I think from our skill guys, a guy that stands out right away to me is Antonio Patterson. Last year, he played receiver, he played running back, he played quarterback, he was a safety, a corner, a kick returner. He did everything for us. And he's just had a phenomenal offseason. That kid, I've been on that kid probably more than anybody else since I've been here. And he just answers the call every time. So much trust and belief in him. And then I felt last year we had, I would call him last year, not to disrespect anybody else, but I think the best freshman in the area was our corner, Samaje Green, who's coming back as a sophomore. That kid has as much talent in his body of anyone I've ever coached at any level. Really good balance of guys. We got some guys who are leaders, who are stepping up in key roles like Nick Romo and Titus Ramirez. And then we have some new faces who, whether they were on the team, not playing a ton, whether I was a 3-sport athlete. So the biggest thing for me is getting other kids from other programs on campus and bring them in. So, we got some guys that played in other sports that are ready to step up. But I would say, returning, when you can say I'm bringing 3 starters back on the O-line, 2 of them are all CIF. I got a captain coming back, and I got these 2 skill guys that just answer the bell for us every time. We get pretty excited on what the year can be.
All right, so Coach, with that said, my next question was going to be, if you had to pick a strength on this team, it sounds like it's the guys up front, right? The line. That's where the experience is.
Yeah, and I think the best way to say it is our senior class is going to be our strength, which is I think the goal should be every year to be able to lean on your senior class. I do think up front is going to be a big strength for us. Everybody knows we run the dang ball, and we're going to continue to do that. I think it'll look a little different this year, be a little more balanced, but up front's definitely that strength for us. And then I would say on defense, our secondary is going to be pretty dang good.
All right, Coach, finally, I'm just curious, before that first game against Etowanda, do you guys have a scrimmage, and who are you going up against to kind of see some live action?
Yeah, so this year, really excited about who we get to scrimmage. We got Carter coming in. It's going to be at our school, which I'm really excited to not get on a bus for a scrimmage and get to host one. But we have Carter coming in. San Bernardino High School is going to come in. And then from the high desert, we have Barstow coming down as well. So get a little 4-team scrimmage. I think the teams that we play really reflect our schedule as far as playing style and some really good coaches that are coming in. So I'm excited. I'm almost as excited for the scrimmage as anything else. We're about a week and a half out from pads, and so this is kind of that point in the year where I'm like, man, let's just line up in pads against someone else and we'll play football. Like it's why we all do it. It's why I coach. The games and playing is the fun part. Obviously, we got to go through practice and camp and get prepared, but we're getting close here, so we're excited for that scrimmage.
Yeah, we are on the doorstep of the 2025 season. It's crazy. And this is another one of our previews here on the Inland Sports Show as we're catching up with Ryan Taylor, the head coach at Grand Terrace. Coach, always appreciate our conversations. Nothing but the best this upcoming year. And hopefully we can do this again soon, man. I think you got a special team out there.
Anytime. Thank you for everything you do for all of us, man. This is promoting the kids in the IE. The IE is a special dang place. And I'm glad to be back here and just know the appreciation all of us have in the high school sports world for what you do is real. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Coach. That's Coach Taylor from GT here on the Inland Sports Show. Inland Sports.